can't remember what our targets are. We'd like to get 3 to 5 medals.
Right.
So that's the expectations, I think. And I suppose when you look at London in terms of London Olympic Games, which is the most successful, I think, was 6 medals, yeah, and which was a very favourable environment for us, because it was only an hour away. Rio was quite different. Tokyo is a long way away, but a different culture. But I think Tokyo will be a better environment for competing, certainly. And I've been to Japan myself many times as an athlete and as an official, and they do things second to none in Tokyo. Those Olympic Games will be brought extreme.
Why is it a better environment?
It's just a better environment in terms of, I guarantee you, it'll be organised extremely well. The athletes will be treated exceptionally well, and it will be a very, very good environment for our athletes, I think, to compete in.
And this will Olympics you'll be working with the newly constituted OFI.
Yeah.
Are you confident that things are going to go smoothly, or at least more smoothly than they have?
What I would just say is this: the system is aligned now. It really is aligned. The whole system is aligned. We're working very closely with the Olympic Federation. The Olympic Federation are working closely with ourselves and with the Institute. And the big issue really was the continuity of care issue. And that was in the past, there'd be different physios come in and operate with the athletes for the Olympic Games. That makes no sense whatsoever. So the system, there's continuity in terms of the Institute staff going with as being part of the Olympic team. So the system is aligned. So if you're an athlete, you're dealing with the people that you've been dealing with all the time, which is really, really hugely important. And that's a significant step. And I think certainly the Olympic Federation is very well organised, well thought out, and I think the system will work very well.
If you don't mind, can I ask about our friends at the FAI? I mean, now that there are independent directors on the board, are you far from reinstating state funding?
There's a bit of work to do at the moment, but I think things will progress fairly quickly now, I would imagine. So I don't want to say anything at this moment in time, but I think things will progress very quickly.
At the briefing earlier, Paul mentioned he thought it was 25% of funding was withheld. I was always under the impression it was half it.
It's 50. It's 50%. Yeah.
It's 50% of the field support grant.
Yeah.
So that's not included with the national team.
Yeah.
Have you been privy at all to the discussions that are ongoing between the Minister and UEFA and the FAI at the bank? Do you know, I mean, is the FAI likely to be saved?
Again, I don't want to get into any of this, really and truly. It's just to say that, I am privy to conversations that are going on. And we're working very closely with the department, and we have with the ministers over the Christmas holidays. We are privy to the developments that are going on, and we're hopeful.
And then there was my final question: there was a line in the Irish Times last week that the government may look at increasing grant aid to around €5 million. Is that true? Has that been discussed?
I'd say anything to do with funding in the FEI going forward will be announced at another time.
Okay. Thanks.
Just, you said, was it 24% up from London? Is that what you said?
No, from Rio side.
Rio alone. And what has allowed that? Is that dormant funds or?
Well, no, it really is the national sports policy has enabled the funding to flow into sport, and the hard work in terms of from the two ministers in getting the increased resources for Sport Ireland, and that has enabled that investment to happen. You have a policy, you have a strategy, and that enables the government then to invest in it.
So it was Was Rio up in London, or are we talking about, like, this is back in recession times, so things were tight anyway?
Things were tight, yeah.
John, the high performance strategy for the next 10 years up until 2029, briefly mentioned in the documents
Yeah.
today. Are there medal targets for Paris and
There is, yeah,
next?
there is, yeah, but I'm not going to get into it today. But they're all in it, and we have the strategy ready to go and be launched. Again, that was part of the policy that the department developed, and was to develop a high performance strategy. That's ready to go and ready to launch, and all that would be part of the targets would be outlined in that.
Have you heard much feedback from athletes regarding the 2-year cycle and the fact that they get the funding 2 years ahead, especially building up to an Olympic year?
Yeah, I think the feedback has been very positive. It enables them to train and get on with their business with a lot more certainty. I think it's a big help, and it just gives them that bit more flexibility and scope. And I think probably particularly if you, as an athlete, is always prone to injuries because they're pushing themselves so hard, it's obviously very important from that respect.
Obviously, you've no control over the organisation of Olympic qualification times and the calendar. Such, Paul McDermott was speaking earlier, talking about the fact that boxing in March and April qualification takes place, and then sports like rugby sevens, it's as late as June. Does that make life awkward for you financially to plan ahead?
No, it doesn't make it awkward. At least what we have now is we have an Olympic qualification in March in London, and we have one in Paris, and that's been run by the IOC, and I think it'll probably be a fairer competition for our athletes. Certainly, I think it'll be a very good competition, and we're glad that the IOC took responsibility for that and put a qualification in place. And I think it's very encouraging, and our athletes are preparing well. They're preparing on the campus and getting on with the business, and we're very hopeful. And the rugby, some sports are late. There's nothing you can do about it. The athletes, they're dealing with that and thinking about that for a period of time, so they can actually cope with it if they know that's what the qualification is.
John, is there any position on UK anti-doping not releasing Mo Farah's samples? Do you think they should?
Do I think they should?
Because they've been asked to do so by a reputable body.
Okay, I'll answer like this. If we were asked for some samples by WADA, we would give the samples.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Yeah.
No fears about tainting, which is their argument that if you open it up.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue. It is definitely an issue. But I think if WADA were looking for the samples, I think we would provide them.
What would be the thinking behind providing them? Just that they're the recognised body in the.
Yeah, I think I suppose there's a piece around. They are the international body, right?
Yeah.
They are. When we're doing anything at national level, we're looking to WADA all the time in terms of, and that's why, as leaders, we would have challenged WADA in terms of the leadership, in terms of handling the Russian situation, because that's who we looked at, and so we're expecting very high standards from them. And so any national organisations that's doing anti-doping testing, obviously transparency is a big part of that. But I can see the issue that UK sport have in terms of samples, but at the same time, I think WADA have. I think all of us national organisations have an obligation that if WADA is looking for something, they should get it.
The counter argument would be, well, if WADA wanted, who's in a better position to ask for the samples than WADA? I mean, who are they holding them for? I understand that they perish.
Yeah.
But if it's WADA is looking for them, they have a very good reason for looking for them.
Yeah, they have. I think certainly if we were in a situation of WADA asked for our samples, I think we certainly provided them to.
Thank you.
Not to dwell on the FAI issue, of course, but has that had any impact whatsoever on the figures released today? Has it taken away from any sports to your knowledge?
The FAI?
Yeah, the FAI's.
No, today is about celebrating, and it really is a great day for sport. And it was 2019 was a difficult year, no question about it. But today it's a celebration, increase in funding, the government having the confidence in the sporting system, and that's what that is today in terms of these big increases in funding. Like the FAI will come out the other end in due course, and But today is really about celebrating all the other sports that have done so well during the course of the year.
But there might be a worry in the future, John, that all of the funding that we have here could be affected if it has to be a bailout of the FAI in the future. So
No,
can you give
that's-
any guarantees that
No, the
other
funding
sports
that's
won't be
announced,
affected?
funding that's announced today will not be affected by the FAI in any way.
But my question is, what about next year? What about if money has to go from the budget next year to increase FAI funding? Could there be changes in the high performance, or is it ring fenced?
Well, I wouldn't anticipate it. I wouldn't be anticipated at all, in fact. No. It's not something I'd be worried about.